Hey there, welcome back. Today on C# and sensors, we're going to go back to the basics. We're going to look at using switches and push buttons from your application. Let's go look at it. I'm going to be using the Yoshi Pi board, which just makes my life a little bit easier. Basically, we've got a Raspberry Pi Zero here connected up to some connectors and a display. This code would work identically if we were using a Raspberry Pi Zero by itself, if we were using a Raspberry Pi 3 or 4, a Jetson Nano, a Meadow F7, any of those. I'm simply using this for convenience. First thing we need to do is we need to wire up either our switch or our push button. We've got two wires that basically we're making or breaking a circuit. So what I can do is I can connect, say, ground to an input and pull this high, or I can connect a voltage to an input and pull this low. Which you choose really is a personal preference and sometimes on the application. One uses a little bit less power, but the power that we're talking about is very, very small, so it doesn't really make a lot of difference. In this case, I'm going to hook up both of them. I'll hook one to high and one to low just so that you can see them both work, and it allows me to connect them up really easily here. I've connected the switch from D0 to voltage and the push button from D1 to ground. Now let's go take a look at how we'd write an application to use these. First, we'll select a Yoshi Pi IoT application template. This simply will add in the references to all of the Meadow libraries that we're going to need. We'll name our application and create it. And you can see over here it is added packages for the Meadow Foundation micro layout, which allows us to write to this display very easily, and the Yoshi Pi itself. This will give us access to that Raspberry Pi Zero. Over here in our application, we're going to define both the push button and the switch. Then I'll create them. The push button is connected to D01. And since the other end is connected to ground, we're going to pull this up. The switch is connected to D0. And since the other end is connected to voltage, we're going to pull it down. Now I'm going to wire up events for both. And finally, I'm going to create a method that allows me to update the display when either one of these changes. So when either the switch changes or the button is clicked, we're going to update the display. That will read both the button and the switch state and send that to the label text over on our display. Let's power up the hardware, deploy this app, and see how it works. So the application comes up. This is the default text. And if we push the button, it should change. And obviously the font is too large to show what we want, so let's just go adjust that real quick. I'll just change this. Now we'll redeploy and run it again. And now the text is a little bit smaller. Let's push the button. Or change the switch. And there you have it. Buttons and switches using C# on a Raspberry Pi.